Good morning. We are in a time and a portal of total transmutation, but also transfiguration and a totally new life, a new beginning, which is now manifesting into form and being. I've become so immensely aware of this in my travels in the last 2 weeks because I was called upon to open up the new earth grids, but also the new earth in the true anchoring in and the merging of all the ancient civilization which has been before. And I'm talking way before Atlantis, way before Lemuria, but indeed to that of Elysium and also the Lion Kingdom. You can read about in my books on Africa, and I'll also go into this as well as Avalon in my book on France. Now, these are very ancient civilizations, and I have now connected with the golden cities which were once in Africa in such a high degree that I cannot even find words to express this. But it was basically a merging of the first two paradises on earth with that of the new paradise, which is now busy being manifested on earth in being anchored in the new golden age. And Africa holds that because there only was one supercontinent, as the geologists confirm, and Africa still holds that. So in other words, the other continents that we know now splintered off as landmass tore off, and some fell into the sea, and they are all rising now. There is huge landmass rising everywhere, not only in the Pacific, but also in the Atlantic and the Indian Oceans. And it's very interesting this because it means that as we are rising again and moving into the fifth and seventh dimensional state, the earth is doing the same because we as above, so below, within as without. But the real and a transformation and transfiguration is within us as much as it's within the earth, and it's in the universe as well, because the universe is also ascending. We are never an entity on our own. We are but little spots of energy that actually are operating in this vast sea oceans, the cosmic oceans of divine being. And in that, we are all interconnected. It's just like our physical body, the hands and the feet and the arms and the elbows and the whole torso and neck and shoulders and head, all are one entity, but each one is functioning at a different level. And then if a whole functions perfectly, then we are radiantly healthy. To me, this is the laying down of the new foundation of the new golden age, which is absolutely pure. And what this really returns to is the state of innocence. I am going to advertise my new webinar, which I'll be doing in next Saturday, not the coming Saturday, but the next Saturday, where I'm going deeply into the state of innocence. And what does that mean? That means a total rebirth. And this is to me what the solstice is all about. And interestingly, I was actually asked to travel when we had that eclipse of the moon, and now in coming back this is now the solar eclipse. And to me, that all shows that it was within a time portal that this needed to be done. But as I was traveling, a lot of things came to the fore, which needed to be finally sort of brought to the fore and released within myself, but also within the land. And because the earth has got a consciousness and she records everything. That's why rocks record everything. They are like great recorders, as crystals are. Rocks are actually crystals. They're just in a different form. And if you have a very crystalline base for a rock, like granite, etc., that is just a conduit of memory, just like water carries memories. And I was asked to open up the sacred waters of the earth. I will go and do a whole course on this very soon, where we just reconnect to those deeper aspects of all the elements within ourselves, but also within the collective, but within all of creation, but also the transformative ones like the atoms and electrons and all the energy fields that we really are. You are energy more than you are body. The soul is pure energy. Everything is energy and everything is conscious. To me, this was another lesson in love and letting go of the past, letting go of that which no longer serves us. Because as everything is transmuting and it's transfiguring and it's moving into a new state, this is alchemy in the greatest degrees. And that is why it's so important, and this is my message for you today, to call in the gold, white, violet flame. So in other words, then we work with the golden ray of Christ. It's also called the Christ Buddhic consciousness. Some call it the Atma, some call it the greater self. It's in that the golden ray embodies the divinity of all that is. The pure white ray is that of purification and clarification with love and joy. When we are clarified and purified, we become totally see-through, but also we experience love and joy, because that is what life is all about. The ancient Egyptians believed that at your moment of death, the first question you would be asked, did you find joy? Did you give joy? Did you bring joy? That has always been to me very much in the consciousness of how we operate in life. You know, so often we get so entangled in what is going on in around us and with all our relationships and goodness knows what, but we forget to find joy. Your joy is the greatest of all energy. It's a natural state of being. You can see it with the animals, you know, the little ones, they love to play, they love to be joyful. It just is a natural thing. Kids too. But more than this, purity and love and joy all go together. And if you're crystal clear about who you are, then joy is a natural outflow of that, and also love. You add to it the violet flame, which is the flame of transmutation. In other words, it alchemizes all which is not that of a white flame and that of a golden flame. So in other words, when they all work together as one, the violet flame transmutes, the white flame purifies and clarifies in ways that the violet flame cannot do, and then the golden ray brings in the completion. You know, the whole pathways of the old mystery schools is to find the path of purity and clarity. And also then to embody that Christ consciousness, that Buddhic consciousness, and to live it. Because it's not outside yourself, it's inside yourself. And then you become in the state of love. Now, it doesn't mean that you've got to accept everything that is in your life, but it also means that you have crystal clear boundaries in a sense that you know where you start and where others begin. But it also flows out in the acceptance that everybody has their own uniqueness. And the boundaries are not there to keep out other people, but rather to empower them to stand in their own light and not in anybody's shadow. That means that as a leader, we do not want to lead people to actually be in detrimental ways. We want to uplift them so that they find that leadership within themselves. They find the completeness and the wholeness and the uniqueness within themselves. So whatever happens in your life, instead of reacting to it and instead of labeling it black or white, go down and say to yourself, how does this serve me? How does this person in acting or behaving or whatever it is in their unique ways to me, how is that serving me to actually awaken in a deeper sense? And it might be that actually then forces you in a state to take control of your own life or empower your own. I don't like to use the word control, but actually empower you to go and stand on your own 2 feet and to finally do what you are supposed to do. to finally acknowledge that you have a special and unique role to play in this whole transfiguration and transforming into a totally new embodiment and a new life. And that is exactly what's happening now. With all this muck that's coming up, it is teaching us, it's saying, well, do you want that to continue, or are you going to break the norm? Are you going to finally break free and then create the type of not utopian, but the type of life you truly would love to live? To do what you love and love what you do. That's the greatest contributing to life that you can do. To be simply and uniquely and authentically yourself. You're not meant to be like anybody else. You are not meant to copy anybody else. You are meant to be simply yourself. And that is why it is so important now to use the gold, white, violet flame, because a flame work together as one triple flame. And it's those flames that are now being returned to us all and have been returned, so that we can have the tools to transmute the old, to purify, to clarify, to find that state of love and joy, even as the old is alchemized, transmuted into the new. And that goes for all our bodies and fields. It goes with our spine. It goes with, because the spine is very important now. The spine is a natural transmitter. Even more than the chakras, they work together. The spine is not only a tuning fork and holds the 33 octaves of sound, but with it, it holds the waters of life in the spinal fluid. It also has lightning energy, and it is the rod of power. That's why the medical symbol actually is that of a spine in its empowerment, when it becomes the winged rod of power. To me, I always see my role as the one that brings that seed to others. And I've been told so many times, sow the seeds, and what happens to the seeds is none of your business. And that's what anybody will do who truly cares about humanity. Because we wish to empower souls. And so often empowering souls also means sometimes to allow them to go and find their own path and their own freedom, but also the freedom to experience life as they are meant to experience, and to always return to the greater truth, the greater knowing, the greater love that is there within themselves. That's the greatest gift of love you can give anyone. So if there is any need to change anybody, then get back to that moment where you realize you cannot change anybody else. You cannot change any system, any whatever. You can only change yourself. And as you change, you are changing the world. As you are become authentic and real, that you are allowing others to be authentic and real. And more than this, as you love yourself, you can love others. And that means loving yourself in completeness, just the way you are. There's always room for improvement, but it's also to be able to sometimes just take yourself in the arms and say, I love you, just the way you are. And to understand that life is joy. Also to have a gift of laughter. And often the best way to heal is to be able to laugh at yourself. And it's to see the funny side of it all. And there's many funny sides that are now opening up about the whole way humanity has operated. I always see the intergalactics winning it. They look at us and they say, he's a strange place sometimes. But it also makes them loving, because they understand that being on this planet is not for sissies, it's only for the bravest of the brave. And that's why we are all here. And To me, that is the greatest gift of opportunity that we have, that we, our souls are here, and we can go through this transfiguration, and we can go through this transition, and we can return to the purity and the uniqueness and the beauty and the love we truly are, and then co-create the new golden age with so much love and joy. And it's good to get the focus and attention on the new golden age and live it every moment as best as you can in the here and now. And that is where our energy and our focus now is asked to be. Because all is now alchemized, as all is merging now. As I said, the first paradise is merging with a new paradise. And that goes beyond our comprehension. You know that there were civilizations on this earth that were totally cosmic, intergalactic, where we had space stations, we had spacecraft, we could literally travel anywhere in God's omniverse. And we sunk into forgetfulness. But now it's time to reclaim our greatness, to reclaim our truth and our power in a beautiful, loving way and with joy. And that is what this life is all about, to return to our true galactic homes and our true galactic citizenship at universal and omniversal levels. What love and joy, what an opportunity. You know, I was standing at Cape Point where I was asked to go and complete the work this week. And I was just standing there, and the waters were singing, the earth was singing. There was literally a celebration of heaven and earth as I've never witnessed before. And I saw that supercontinent is not only awakening again, but all that was before is merging with the new earth and the new golden age. And that means all living beings within the earth, upon her, and also the new that is now manifesting into form and being. I have not even got words for what I witnessed there. All I can say is, to be here on this planet at this time is a privilege. It's the greater privilege that we can even imagine in our wildest dreams. And it's very good to go and write down what it is that you wish to manifest into form and being in the new golden age with love and joy. And then go and make that your daily affirmation and your daily prayer. And in that way, you're already putting everything in motion, that you are open to changing into that now, in this moment. And call in the gold, white, and violet flames to transmute anything and all, and purify and clarify, and bring that into a totally new existence, where you embody the Christ consciousness fully and totally, or the Buddhic consciousness, whatever you wish to call it, the Christ, the Buddha, the Atma, the eternal self. That is what we're transforming to now, and what we need to claim now for ourselves and for all of humanity, for those souls who choose to ascend. Many will not at this moment, but that is okay. Now nobody is lost. In their own time, they will get to where they wish to be. Thank you so much for being on this planet with me. And I thank Mother Earth, and I thank the waters, I thank the air, I thank the fires, I thank the elements, I thank the elementals. I thank the animals, the birds, the plants, the trees. I thank the air and the fires. I thank all and every creature and living being in the earth, upon the earth, in the waters, in the air and within the air, and the fires, and whatever it is, in whatever form it is. Thank you. We are all ascending. And what joy there is, and what love there is, as the divine power packets are released, the divine light packets are released, as a divine light and love and power pockets are released with the pockets of wisdom. What a time to be alive and well and on planet Earth. Thank you, beautiful soul. I see the soul in you, and I greet the soul in you, the eternal and infinite soul you have been since the time the divine first birthed you. Remember the truth of who and what you are, and go out and serve with great love and joy. We are all just instruments used by divine hands, and that divinity in truth is within us. May you be blessed into the core of your heart and your soul, and all that you are in truth. And may you find the deepest love and joy. I greet you with love and with joy.